Okay, righto, here we go. The winner of the 2022 Blind Australian of the Year, Callum Hooley.
And we all know the awkward moment where you didn't write a speech. The benefit of sitting at the table with my esteemed colleagues at this moment is that I've seen, obviously, the difference that they've made in the world, and I sit here and say, well, how did I win? I don't know, but I have the same throat issue that all the other people have been up here with. It could have been at the exchange of money. And I'm sure you've all spotted the Territorian in the room. And I thought dressing this way might exclude me from being on stage, but I was wrong. It's a very interesting thing because I stand between two people who have guide dogs, and I see many people with canes, and I don't use those things, and it's not because I haven't been given a cane, and it's not because I haven't been told that I probably should use one, but I just don't. And I trip on things, and I have my moments, but I also, through my company, get to wander around the desert and see the things that people live with and the joy that they have with having so little at times. And sometimes you're just surrounded by the things you need, and that's all there is to it. So I say in my life that I'm extremely lucky. I have a mother who's here tonight. Victoria had a cry on cue. No, I have a mother who dedicated absolutely everything in her life to make sure that there was pathways for me through the things. Who showed me what it means to volunteer your time and the joy you can get from doing those things for people. I have a father who dedicates all of his time to me and showed how much you can sacrifice and still be happy with what you've got. I have two older brothers who I've managed to learn various lessons off in life, but certainly one of them is to be able to sit and listen to people for very long periods of time about sometimes very inane things. But I also have a younger brother who I got to experience the joys of seeing someone grow up and to be able to help mould the person that they become. I have the most beautiful family, and I'm sorry, you'll get second place. You're only playing for second on that. If you do happen to have a partner and kids, I did acknowledge that one of my competitors has twins, and I've ruled myself out. I have a 1-year-old daughter, and I have 2 stepchildren who, they're just the most beautiful boys in the world. And I'm so lucky that they're well behaved. The girl still remains to be seen. But she has started walking at the age of 1, and I own many running shoes. Beyond this, I don't actually have much that I thought to talk about, but obviously, when you have nominations and things like that put in for you, there's things that go into those and parts that just can't be spoken about because there's only a 2,500 character limit, which I think needs to be got. But I suppose my partner Nikki put the nomination in for me, and by the time we got to the end and did the copy and paste across from Word, there were a few words, literally a few words that she couldn't put it through into it, and it was a dot point at the end that said, "And he's a dad," and that's very much the part I thought I was going to win on, and it got cut out. No, but obviously it was a process, because I did happen to know who was nominating me, and she wanted to tell my story. It was a process of going through and reflecting on the things that I've done in the number of years that I've been here, and it's a cool experience. The part that didn't get mentioned tonight, that I think was probably the most important part, is that I coach numerous times during the week for our local junior baseball and softball kids, and my kids participate in that, and I volunteer a lot of my time across to that side of our community, and I recently, for some reason, signed up as the president for softball in the territory. But more just, I think that part's important, because to me that's everyday life, and that's the parts that I see as being important, and the choice that I make to give my time to my community. Moving into the company that I've put together, we're very humble, but the reason that I put that together was again because of a barrier that was in place around work. I'd made my applications, I'd put things in, and I got knocked back at the point where you required a licence, which for some reason was for an office job. And I now work an office job, and I really do appreciate the fact that my entry into the industry that I'm in was very much, luckily because of the relationships that I've built, but the people who happened to manage me and brought me in acknowledged that those things weren't necessary, despite the fact that they seem to come in a template that comes from making these decisions and employing people. There's so much more and so much value that people can bring, and if there's only one thing in the way, is it not worth ignoring that one thing, or maybe even changing the way things are done just a little bit so that we can get the other 9 out of 10? I've had the opportunity now to work with dozens of people who have various disabilities, who identify with having those disabilities, which is something that I feel very strongly about, because for 27 years I refused to go and see someone and get diagnosed as being legally blind, despite the fact that I knew I was. That wasn't meant to be funny. 27 years, I think, I can't really actually remember, but 27 years I went, and I lost my eyesight at the age of 14. So technically it wasn't 27 years, but we're just going to have that because, fluff the numbers. No fact checking, please. You're on a day off from ABC, right? Okay. And I'm almost done, trust me, but I am making this up as I go, so I might go on a tangent. For so many years I never acknowledged that that's who I was and the person that I was, and I think in the last 3-4 years that I've been able to do that, I've made so many leaps and bounds in my personal life, and accepting the help of others and enjoying the stories that others bring to me in being a part of that community. And I think that everybody who experiences that in their life at some point, because it is the club you can join at any time, you could become one of us. I think if the quicker you do that, the better value it's going to bring in your life, and the more relationships you're going to build with people who share that experience with you, and you're going to find the joys of knowing those people and understanding the challenges that they've overcome, and you're going to have a much better life for it. I had a couple of quotes, because that's what you do in the recommendations on Google for speeches. And one of them is a Star Trek reference. I've never watched an episode, but I have a brother who tells me many stories, and did for many, many years as a child. And I'm paraphrasing because I didn't write this down. It's that you can fight a battle perfectly and still lose. And that's okay, because you don't have to win. You can enjoy the process, and you can live the dream, even if you don't quite make it all the way there. Hence my sporting career, which of my physical limitations obviously held me back from being a professional baseball player. but I was too short. It just is what it is. I got to the peak of where I feel like I could have gotten. The last quote, and what I'll walk away on, is a thing I saw on a YouTube show about 6 days ago, and it's changed my life. Can't never could, and could did it all.